Hi, this is Danny Doyle, and I'm joined by Jacob, and in order to ensure that I don't make the same mistake I did when reviewing Dwyer, I started the video on the correct screen for unit review. So, if you're proud of me, let me know, say you're proud of me, because...
Proud of you, Danny.
I'm proud of me. Comment that you're proud of me, please. No, let's talk about Kana. Speaking of really annoying characters, let's talk about Kana. As a unit, Kana is just, like, Corrin but worse, because you have less time to skill stack. You can give him or her a couple of skills from Inheritance, which does help with
Like
the skill
Luna.
stacking. Yeah, like Luna. Or, you know, you could have gotten Defender if you hadn't fucked up in capturing Luluin, but I'm not salty. So... I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about saying it's harder to skill stack. The thing is that Corrin can, like, jump between classes because of the way that friendship works with Corrin. How he can get A+, or he can get, like, A with multiple people, and that gives him A+ with all of them. Whereas Kana doesn't get those privileges, so the only way Kana can get skills that he or she would not normally have access to in the, like, classes that get passed down to them is, you know, traditionally through marriage and friendship, or if you give them some through inheritance. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Kana always feels redundant, because by the time I'm ready to recruit them, Corrin has outgrown, the Dragonstone has outgrown its usefulness, so Corrin has reclassed into something else. And so even if I, like, insta-promote Kana with a Master Seal or Offspring Seal, I still have to spend a second seal then to move them over into a class that's useful. Like, especially in Birthright, when you just get stabs instead of tomes, it's just not a... I don't think Kana's a particularly good unit out of the kids.
Yeah, Kana just kind of feels like Corrin again, but with a different personal and 2 extra skills.
Their
the personal's like... Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, you just get a free 15% HP if your Dragonstone is equipped, but that's assuming you stayed in the only class that has a Dragonstone.
It does sort of lend them to, like, filling the niche if you've decided to reclass Corrin, and maybe you want them to, like, fill the niche of, like, Dragonstone tank. But like I said, the Dragonstone sort of wears out its welcome, simply because it doesn't have it does not 1-2 range, and... it comes with, like, each Dragonstone comes with some amount of penalties. Like, this one can't double and also lowers your speed and skill. Like, obviously it makes you better at tanking, but I feel like there are better tanks in all of the games that Kana is available in. Like, the Spearmasters tend to be better at tanking, even though they're not technically Armor Knights. And then, like, Effie and Benny, and Benny's son, whose name I can't remember, but who has the same name as a character who's a boss in Awakening. They are all, like, phenomenal Armor Knights if you choose to keep them in those classes. And even, like, Great Knight Silas or Great Knight Jacob are pretty good tanks. Like, yeah, Kana gets, like, huge bonus and has decent mixed bulk, so I don't know, maybe they are fairly useful. Like, especially with the personal. They're obviously going to be useful here.
I'm looking at the other Dragonstone. Dragonstone Plus is just a more extreme version of this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it lowers your speed and skill even more, but it raises your defense and res even more. It's like an extra 3 or 4 points across the board. So it just kind of turns you even more into a wall altogether. But at this point, if you can't counter it to range like Ryoma can, there's just not a whole lot I think Kana can do, especially because they don't have all of the skills Corrin, or all the classes Corrin has access to.
Yeah. And, like, also, nobility on a child unit feels like, again, kind of a slap in the face, because I do feel like the children tend to be better when you wait for them to get the free Offspring Seal. I've heard some people say that that's a pitfall, and that you should get them early when the paralogs are easy, and also it's easier to train the kid amongst different classes. But I do think the free Offspring Seal is, like, a really big thing that you don't want to pass up, because even if you ignore, like, in Birthright, obviously you get more Master Seals than you knew what to do with, but the experience management is still a thing you no longer have to worry about if you're Offspring Sealing. I feel like the experience that the Offspring Seal gives you scales greater than the experience you would get if you recruited early.
True.
Like, it's 2 levels per chapter. Sure, if you're soloing the chapter, someone's probably going to be able to get 2 levels per chapter, but not every unit can get 2 levels per chapter. And so I think for that reason, unless you are using every kid, it's often advisable to get the kids later. Unless there's a kid who you really like using. And then obviously the more time you can spend with them, you know, it's not like you're playing wrong. I just think that resource management-wise, experience management-wise, the Offspring Seals are a boon, and you would be kind of, loath not to use them. Or I am loath not to use them, rather.
The only other reason I can think of going to a paralog early is if it's like, let's take Nina for example. If you didn't want to use Nina, but you really wanted the treasure out of Nina's paralog, like you go do the paralog, leave Nina on the bench, and just use everything out of the paralog.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's kind of like another reason I can think of to do them early, but if you're doing it to use the child units, I think it's better to at least wait for the Offspring Seal, just because it's a free seal.
Unless it's like an Iron Man setting and you need the bench and you need the body.
That is true. If you just need to get another unit to fill up some slots.
Like I've watched a couple of Iron Mans of the Fates games, and we're getting kind of off topic, but this is a short chapter anyway. I know one of the strats is like pair people early, and then when you get gaps in your rosters, go to the child paralogs to replace them.
Yes.
Like, if you pair people and then you're like, oh no, I need a character to fill this particular... Like, I need a bulky character. Which of my children can I make bulky? You know, that sort of thing. So that they are gaining their experience from... gaining experience, quote-unquote, from, like, being a
Just
higher level
existing.
or getting the Offspring Seal. But then, when you need them, you can pull them off the bench. As opposed to, like, if you recruit them earlier and sit them on the bench, then it's kind of like, well... Now I take a level 4 unit off the bench instead of taking a level 10 unit off the bench.
Yes.
But speaking of characters who scale with the paralogs, I do want to review my boy and my other boy. I mean, this will be quick. They're both just free berserkers who scale incredibly well. Because the bosses in the paralogs scale incredibly well. I feel like they scale even better than the child units. If you take a look...
I would say so.
Kana is level 8 right now, and Leloid and Leluin are level 14. It's because they're, you know, bosses, and so they're supposed to be difficult things for you to face, but you get to keep those stats. Like, 32 strength. Do they just have identical stats? I think they just have identical stats. Yeah, they have identical stats. So let's look at Leluin.
Berserker bases.
Let's look at Leluin just because, you know, then we don't get the boosted.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're just Berserker bases, but they're, like, enemy Berserker bases, so they're much higher than, like, if we had a level 14 Berserker.
Let's do something funny.
Like...
So, strength, speed, defense, 32, 25, 19. Scroll over to Kana. 32, 25, 19. 32, 29, 19. Comparing the stats, they're, like, higher in almost every regard.
Yeah, they're not really made for tanking, but they also have a huge HP pool.
Yeah, they also have like 50-something HP.
Yeah, and like 19 defense is not something to scoff at. Like, oftentimes Berserkers will have huge HP pools and then like single-digit defense, and like 19 isn't the tankiest thing in the world, but by Fate standards, 56 HP might as well be infinite.
Yes.
Like, not might as well be infinite as in you don't need to worry about them dying, but might as well be infinite as in, like, nobody has that much HP in a Fates game. Which is kind of absurd.
I feel like Fates breaks that meme that I've seen of, like, the final boss versus the final boss when they're recruitable. Except in this, you actually get to keep the stats that the boss has.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. This is like the one time when you can recruit bosses and get to keep their overkill stats, and I'm all here for it. It is kind of a shame they don't have any skills inherently, but we can fix that by training. Well, they have HP plus 5. We can fix that by training them though. First thing is first.
I can't wait to see the deep strats that are going to go into this chapter. Where you have to go back and forth between...
Oh, hello.
Wow.
There we go.
Not like this.
Yeah, it couldn't render the wonder that was my boy, Mr. Duckface Mohawk himself, getting a crit. Oh.
Is there treasure in this chapter? Nice EXP gain.
They're never getting skills, is what I'm learning. No, there's no treasure in this chapter.
Wow. Oh look, we're going back into Swordmaster.
We are. I am at level 14 and 85 experience, so I would very much like to get Swordfair, and
Ooh.
I feel like I will do that.
Oh my gosh, he has a custom outfit for this class.
That's so cool. I wonder if we're gonna keep him in it for longer than one combat. Wait, why are you moving? In my testing, you didn't move.
This is a flawless strat.
A flawless strat with no flaws.
Interesting.
Alright, ignore the previous clip. This is a flawless strategy with no flaws.
Uh-huh.
Watch. So step 1, we switch to Swordmaster. Come on, buddy. You can do this faster. I'll just skip. We already saw the promotion.
I was wondering why you weren't just gonna skip it.
I was spamming.
ask,
I was
but-
spamming start, but my controller got unplugged. I mean, my
Ah.
Nintendo DS got unplugged.
It's okay, I didn't hear anything.
My Nintendo DS got unplugged. Here, we'll do this. A
Oh, I hate it whenever
flawless
my DS
strategy
controller
with
gets
no
unplugged.
flaws.
Oh no, look out. Luna! Bazap!
In my testing, he got a Luna crit on the 1 HP.
Oh.
So it
So
was like
good.
the most overkill possible. Anyway, Swordfair is just like a straight upgrade to Elbow Room. So I think I'm gonna replace Luna.
Oh. That is so depressing. I'm leaving.
Okay, bye! Wait, if you leave, who will talk about Shigure with me?
Someone who likes Elbow Room and not Luna. But I like Shigure, so
I
I'll
thought
stay.
you're the one who said Elbow Room was good. You were because I said I wanted Defender, and you were the one who said you wanted Elbow Room instead. I'm
Not at the
confused
expense
now.
of Luna.
Luna
But I like-
bad. Bottom text.
I like Shigure, so I'll talk about him.
All right, well you go first then, because I don't know that much about him. Actually, should
he
we
has a-
promote him first, or do we just want to look at his abysmal, unpromoted level 20 stats?
Yeah, let's give him a promotion, so he looks even better.
Okay.
What are we promoting him into?
I think that we want to send him into Falcon Knight, so he will be... It's just a better class for him overall. Bow Access is nice, and I like Air Superiority, but we already have Takumi's Child for that, and I want another good promoted Rescue Staff user who's flying Rescue Staff user. Plus, like, he gets higher strength for that, and I don't think I'm going to be using bows on him that often anyway.
Yeah, I figured the rescue staff would be something you'd want.
The biggest thing is, like, I could send him Kinshi for the combat. I considered sending him Kinshi for the combat, and then switching over to Falcon when I needed him as a rescue bot, but we are actually out of money. So I'm not sure how much... I know we get a money drop after we get all the kids, but I'm not sure how much flying rescue I will need before then. So I kind of was like...
What happened to the part where we had more money than we knew what to do with?
You know, honestly, I feel like my approach to money in Birthright was similar to a lot of people's approach to money in FE7, in that you think to yourself, this is a game where you have infinite money, and it kind of is, but if you don't, like, especially at certain portions, like FE7, it's the beginning, and in FE Birthright, I feel like it's the mid-game, when you are not getting the steady supply. If you're just sort of thinking, I can buy anything I want, you will end up broke. And you'll eventually get the money back, but you'll end up broke for portions. But let's talk about Shigure instead of being broke, because that's too realistic to my actual life.
So true. For me too. Shigure, he has a good singing voice. He sings real nice. Oh yeah, and he has perfect pitch, I guess.
I've heard people say that his singing voice makes him a good rally bot, and I don't agree with that assessment. because he
I
doesn't
have
really
no-
have access to that many good inherent rallies.
I have no idea who you're talking to. that says that, because that sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah, I've heard people say that him and Laszlo are like the best rally bots because, for him it's like perfect pitch is a rally that no one else can get, and then he can get like rally speed, which granted is one of the better rallies. And then you like pair Azura with someone in order to pass down another rally. Usually it's like give her a berserker for strength or something. But I feel like, I don't know, like I guess that's fine. I feel like I generally use my rally bots to set up for player phase. So like 10% of their HP just doesn't feel,
And
like that feels
only
like even less of an argument than Laszlo's fancy footwork, which is still like Laszlo's fancy footwork is in a game where rally bot exists, so he's not the best rally. Like you could argue Shigure is the best rally bot in like Birthright potentially if you wanted to say that, but like Laszlo is not going to compete with Rally Man.
Also, keep in mind, I'm fairly certain the way this is worded, what it's trying to say is that it only works if they have less HP than Shigure.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is it's not even just healer.
It doesn't just work. Yeah, it's not just you restore 10% HP. It's only if they have less HP than Shigure, it works.
So Leloid and Leluin are out of luck, I guess.
Basically. Other than talking about his singing voice, he's like a cool unit. He's, I've used him a couple times just as like a Falco Knight or as a Kinshi Knight. As a Kinshi Knight, he kills things. As a Falco Knight, cool staff access. I love flying staffs. Just a Pegasus Knight that you can pass good skills onto. Like, I guess we passed Luck +4 onto him. That's a really good skill to pass onto him, I guess.
I mean, my hot take is that he's probably the worst kid, because you either have to pass Luck +4 to him as one of his 2 skills, which is not a good skill, or you have to fuck over, like, your earlier game by reclassing Azura to get a skill that's not Luck +4. Because all of Azura's other skills, like, even, not just Inspiring Song, but the other 2, like Voice of Peace and, like whatever the offensive version of that is, are inherent to Dancer. Like, only Luck +4 can get passed down from Dancer. I know,
That's
because
why.
I have previously put off Shigure's recruitment until I could spam Azura all the way up to her level 35 skill, and he doesn't even get that when he still gets Luck +4.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it's like, it's the same thing with Olivia and her kid in Awakening, in that, like, because they basically function like a kid who gets 1 less inheritance. To me, it's even worse than, like, a kid who is the same class. Because, like, at the very least for, a kid who's the same class, like, Saizo's kid, for example, right? Asuji, you could just be like, well, I want Replicate, so I'll put Saizo into Mechanist, and then Asuji can just go Master Ninja and get Replicate or something, right? But you can't do that with Shigure, because, like, you have to make Azura not a dancer. And, like, his personal isn't helping him either. These are the 2, like, this drags him down from the other kids, and his personal doesn't drag him up from it. And if anything, it also, like, just, a guy with a bad personal isn't a bad unit necessarily, but he doesn't really bring anything to the table. Like, there's other Sky Knights you can get. I guess not in Conquest, but, like, in Birthright, there's other Sky Knights you can get. There's other Gen 2 Sky Knights you can get. I don't care for him.
So what you're saying is you need to make Azura a Kinshi Knight so she can get air superiority. That way you can send Shigure straight into Falco Knight with air superiority.
No, what I'm saying is that you make Corrin into a fighter.
Berserker?
You make Corrin into a fighter so that Azura can reclass into a Berserker, and then Azura can pass down Rally Strength and make Shigure into the ultimate Rally bot.
Ooh, even better.
And Corrin can pass down another Rally by friendshipping someone and getting their friendship Rally. Do any of the Rallies are really the Norian skills, aren't they? Breakers are the Hoshiden ones. So can Corrin even get? Yeah. So Corrin can friendship. Oh no, male Corrin can't friendship Scarlet. Male Corrin can only friendship other men. Okay, so what you do what you do, okay. Well, okay, so the plan isn't completely fucked because here's the other thing that's worth noting. Shigure is, I'm pretty sure, the reason that the class inheritance thing extends to 3 sets because Shigure's base class is Falcon Knight, right?
Uh-huh.
Generally, what will happen for the kids' inheritance is they have their base class, and then they will get 1 class from their mother and 1 class from their father. If their base class matches the base class of one parent, then they will get their parents' secondary class. Or if their parents' class can't get passed down, like Villager or Dancer, then they will get their parents' secondary class instead. So, Azura passes down Sky Knight because Dancer can't get passed down. However, Shigure's base class is Sky Knight. So, Azura passes down her other, like it's not one she can reclass to, but she has it in her data class, which is the Troubadour set, the Elise set, right? Whatever that is. Troubadour plus Butler plus Strategist, right? If she marries Jacob, Jacob's first set is Troubadour. So Shigure gets Troubadour from Jacob, and then he looks at Azura and says, what do I get from you? She goes, Sky Knight. He goes, I already have that. She goes, Troubadour. He goes, I already have that. So then, what happens in that case is they get the opposite version of what the first class would be. So he gets Wyvern from Azura, because that's the Norian version of Sky Knight. And it's something that I feel like only comes up with Shigure. But it is technically how the game works, because, like, in randomizers, it'll follow those same rules. And so that's how we know it's not a special case for Azura, it's actually the game rules. If in a randomizer, you had an instance that aligned like that, where you were unable to pull from the 2 first classes from the parent, then you would pull the opposite nation's version of things. So that's a cool fact that is related to Shigure, but also, like, I don't know, I don't think he's especially good for... I guess... technically, he is the easiest way to access Wyvern outside of Scarlet in Birthright.
Yes.
And
that sounds right.
He's the potential earliest, because Jacob and Azura have a fast support. So you get
That's
a Wyvern.
true.
You get a Wyvern early if you wanted him. See, we found something that he brings to the table, other than luck plus 4 access.
That was the most around mental gymnastic way to make Shigure into something unique I have ever heard, and I'm gonna do it next time I play this game.
Yeah, go for it. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad pairing. Jacob's a physical unit. And, like, Azura actually has a surprising high personal strength.
Yeah.
Like, it really only comes up in Rev or if you're memeing, but, like, she has a weirdly high personal strength growth.
I've seen all of the Azura with, like, capped strength screenshots.
The other thing is he always has Dragon Blood, which, like, I guess that's nice. The kids that have Dragon Blood are nice, but, like, any kid can have Dragon Blood. It's so weird to talk about the kids in unit reviews because they're so customizable. But,
You can only talk about so much.
I feel like we've covered all of the, like, stuff specific to Shigure, and, like, if you want to do a weird Shigure build, you can. I'm sure there's ones I haven't thought of, but, like, a lot of those would also go on other people, potentially.
So all of this to say, go listen to Lost in the Waves.
Oh, is that,
That's the one he sings.
Oh yeah, don't you have a fun fact you like about Shigure as well? Isn't there, like, something DLC related you like about Shigure?
Oh. So, if you play the Heirs of Fate DLC, Shigure and Kana are the main characters throughout all of the chapters, but Shigure wears the pendant that Azura wears throughout the main game because she gives it to him before, like, the entire Gen 1 squad dies. So throughout the entirety of those DLC chapters, he has a slightly different portrait where he's wearing the pendant that she usually wears.
I think that's cool.
That's a nice touch.
I think that's really cool. And, like, to be clear, when I say that, like, I don't think Shigure is a good unit, I don't think it has anything to do with his character. And I could be wrong. The kids are very customizable. So, like, the Wyvern thing could be good. Especially if you're doing Birthright, where you have limited Wyvern access. There's no.
I will find the meta.
Yeah, and I mean, in Fire Emblem, especially in a game like Birthrights, any unit can be good if you invest in them. So
Yes.
Just know, like, if I'm ever like shitting on a unit that you like, that's not, there's some units I like and there's some units I dislike. And that is okay if you disagree. Let's go to the lottery shop.
Ooh, my favorite.
Our unit reviews took longer than I planned. I was gonna do 2 maps this video, but I don't think we have time for 2, so I just wanted to kill a little, because our unit reviews took so long, but I just wanted to kill a little time with that.
Ooh, free
Anyway,
Amber.
Free Amber. Oh, speaking of Amber, did you know that all the, you probably know this, but all of the, fuck, what's the, Brodian. All the Brodian characters are the French names for gemstones.
Oh, I can see that now.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which is really cool, I think. I guess with that in mind, Engage must be like French flavor. Cause, the first place is also kind of Frenchy. Like the flower place is French.
Uh-huh. Fierney.
Fierney, yeah.
And then you have names like Céline.
Yeah, and then
Chloe.
yeah,
Louis.
I think that's cool. I kind of thought just Cyrene was French, but knowing that most of the Brodians are the French names for like the Brodians are French names for gemstones, I think maybe it's kind of like how this is like East Asian flavored, right? And how Nor is supposed to be like Germanic. I think that's cool that they like have a little bit of flavor in them. It's kind of like the Pokemon regions being like, this one's Hawaii, this one's New York, this one's a specific region, that one's a specific region type deal. Anyway, join me next time for Takumi. Oh, what were you saying?
I feel like an idiot for not figuring that out.
Nah, you just don't speak French. And honestly, speaking French is cringe.